how are you? This is Towan Isom. I'm CEO of Isom Global Strategies by my day job, but for everything that I'm passionate about, you've come to the right channel. So who am I? I have a lot of experience when it comes to government contracting. I have built a successful $25 million business when I started with absolutely zero knowledge and nothing. I learned the hard way. So when it comes to what needs to be done for government contracting, you could not have come to a better place. I've created a ton of content and a whole entire program around government contracting. But I'm not here to sell that. What I'm here to tell you how to do is the basics of what you need to do to get started to launch your own government contracting business. So the first thing you need to know is the government buys everything, literally. They buy toilet tissue, they buy custodial services, janitorial services, they buy professional services, financial services, actuary services, they buy daycare services, they buy buildings, they buy construction services, they buy literally everything. So the first thing you want to do is to classify what type of business you have. If you have let's say a construction company, what kind of construction company do you have? I have a flooring construction company. If you have a custodial services company, I have a custodial services company. So be specific of what it is, the type of business you have. And then go to just Google NAICS, that's NAICS codes. NAICS codes are how the government classifies what they're looking for. So for example, you would put in research company, and then what happens in the software, in the platform, in Google, put NAICS code for research company, NAICS code for construction company, NAICS code for childcare services. You put that into Google and the NAICS code, and it will tell you how and what the business, the code that the government uses to classify your business. So I just want to repeat that. It's NAICS codes, NAICS. And then once you come to that website where it's going to allow you just to type in what kind of business you have, it will render, okay, this is the NAICS code for your type of business. So every type of business has a different NAICS codes. If you're a construction company, you have a separate NAICS code from someone that is a professional services with an accounting company, versus if you are a custodial services company, that is a completely different NAICS code. So that's the first thing you want to do, is find out what is the NAICS code for your type of business. Second thing you want to do is you want to look at who is buying your business. So there's all this is free that I'm telling you. F like Frank, PDS, F like Frank, P like Paul, D like doll, S like Sam.gov is a great site for you to go to where you can enter your NAICS code. It looks like a Google webpage, but it's not. It's brilliant how they set it up, because what it is a web page where you can enter the NAICS codes, and then it will tell you all of the contracts ever that have been awarded in your particular NAICS code. You don't need to pull all of this stuff. Just go back like maybe 8 years. Government contracts can be done either a 1 year or 2 year or a 3 year or a 5 year. And so what that is called is a base year, which is the first year, and then you get an option year. Sometimes it's not guaranteed. Base year is the first year of the contract. Option years are based on if they have funding, or if the government likes what you're doing and your service, you will get your second year or your third year option renewed. So you can have a 1 year contract and just say just base year. That means it's no other years. Or you can have a base plus 1 option year. That means it's 2 years. Or you can have a base plus 2 option years. That's 3 years. Or you can have a base. Typically after that, it's a base plus 4 option years. That's the gold mine. You have 5 years. It takes a lot for the government to not pursue option years. That means you must be doing a horrible job. And if that's the case, then they will do a stop work order on your contract to say you're just not performing. If that's the case, that can be a death sentence for a contractor. So you don't want that to happen. So you never, ever want to bite off more than you can handle when you're doing a government contracting. I know that a lot of people may know people. I know that it sounds good to say you have $1 million contract, but you want to grow into the revenue of these contracts, right? So if you're starting out and it's just you might want to take a $100,000 contract or 250K. As you get older, the government says, hey, I trust this person to do a $500,000 contract because they've done so well. And they know that because in the government, they give you what you call a CPARS evaluation. A CPARS evaluation is when the government reviews you, almost it's like a Google review, but it's seen by other contract officers. So you want to focus on that because oftentimes people overlook that and then they're like, oh my God, why did my CPARS say unsuccessful or not good? And then you try to go after other work, it's too late. You can't change it or correct it within that moment. You get a certain amount of time, I think it's 10 days, to actually respond to the contract officer after they submit the CPARS, where you can get feedback and ask for a change. So if you felt like they were not accurate or they forgot something, they will change the CPARS. Like if you could say we went above and beyond here, this wasn't just satisfactory, we did exceptional, and we want to, you don't ever say we want you to change it. We say nicely, we would love it if you can consider giving us a higher rating because of ABC. Just don't say we want a high rating. We would like a high rating because in these 3 scenarios, I believe in 3s, not just 1, but 3 different times we went above and beyond. We have testimonials here from the emails from our customer, from our client said, you guys really nailed it. We appreciate you really working extra hours to get this done. That stuff matters. Take that to the contract officer and let them make the evaluation and make the change if possible. Oftentimes within the government, there's the people who work on the program team, and then there's a contracting officer. A great way to look at this is the contracting officer manages all the paperwork and the oversight. The program team does the day-to-day of what happens within the contract. So sometimes the contract officer will never, ever talk to the program team to ask like how you did. They just automatically put satisfactory. But the program team may be saying, oh my God, they're killing it. They're amazing. The best way to do that is to do a good job and not take on contracts that will require you to scale too fast until you kind of build your footing and cut your chops, just kind of learning the ropes. Because with government contracting, there can be a lot of paperwork. So you definitely need to have a good accounting and a person and a good virtual assistant to just make sure the paperwork is being signed. You're tracking with your customer. You want to do a check-in survey with your customer, with your program team every 3 months. Hey, just checking in and see anything we can work on, what we can do well, what we can improve upon, what you really like about what we did last quarter that you really like, you want us to institute moving forward. What that does is it gives the government, it tells the government that, wow, this person really is considerate and concerned about their reputation, which says they want to see you do well. They will refer you to other people. We've had that personally happen to us, and we got new business from referral. I mean, there was a time we weren't even going after new business. We would just do referral. And then the other thing that is great is the contract officer loves to hear success stories because they kind of bounce your name around as well. So those are good things that you could do to really make sure that you improve your CPARS rating. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the next thing you want to do. So the next thing you want to do is really look at, after you have like who your customer is and you getting opportunities, you want to create some kind of process to make sure that you are tracking well and managing your cash flows. When you have people on site, if it's the project that requires more people, you want to always make sure that you're tracking their hours, even if they're on salary. You want to know how long it's taking you to do this work because that's going to help you with your budgeting. So as you move forward, FPDS is the way for you to enter your NAICS code and to track how people are, who's buying your services. Once you see who's buying your services, it can be hard for the government to give you a chance if you don't have any what we call past performance. Past performance is where the government says you have done this job before, you've done it successfully, and we trust you to do this work, right? And so when you're going for past performance, you can either use your commercial work, which is great, or you can come in as a sub. A sub is a subcontractor working for a larger company who is a prime. So oftentimes in the government, you will hear the word prime, which is the first person who has a direct contract with the government. Or you can have a sub, when you are a sub, be a sub where you are a subcontractor under the prime contractor. It's always good to be a prime, but if you are a sub, like we've only primed our work. We were blessed that I had enough experience from the corporate side going into government contracting that they trusted me to actually prime a contract. And then we've always primed. But if you go into a contract as a sub, the best way to do that is to use the list that you export from FPDS. So in FPDS, on the right side, you can see export, and then it has an Excel document, right? So when you have that Excel document, what you can do is click on the Excel, and it's going to spit out in your downloads an Excel document for all, and I mean all of the contracts that were ever done. After you see all the contracts that were ever done and completed and awarded in your NAICS, do a quick sort on company, and you can see the companies where the government is directly hiring for that type of work. So let's say your NAICS code is 541116. You export all of those contacts in an Excel spreadsheet. You do a sort based on company, and it will show all of the top companies who have ever been awarded a contract in 541116 or whatever the NAICS code is. From there, what I want you to do is go online, find those companies, make LinkedIn connections, reach out, tell them, hey, I have been doing this business. I'm interested in being a potential subcontractor for you on this type of work. I love to build my past performance. I plan to, if you are a service disabled veteran, I plan to start my own company, or I have a company now and I'm in the process of getting service disabled veteran classification or certification, woman owned, minority owned, whatever kind of own, any kind of set aside companies like that. Because when you bid on contracts, if they are the prime and you're the sub, after you develop a relationship, some of these contracts go small business set aside. And if they go small business set aside, then what can happen is they will flip the dynamics where they become the sub and you become the prime. And that gives them an opportunity to still continue on with the agency, but they just sponsor you in. They're not going to do that immediately because they don't know you and they don't trust you. But else, over time, as you build a relationship with them, it will become a relationship where they trust you, and that would enable you to really build a strong relationship with them to get more business. So the first step I would say is try to get a subcontractor relationship. The second thing I would say is, if you are coming from a commercial space or you just have a ton of past performance and you have proof of work or proof of concept, you can do this job and you don't need to be a subcontractor. Create a really comprehensive capabilities presentation. Do a 20-page capabilities presentation. Shorten that down to 5 pages, and then do a 1-sheet capabilities presentation. What that enables you to do is it really enables you to identify quickly what it is you're able to do and who you have done it for. If you need guidance on this, just drop me a line in the description. You can contact my team. And what we will do is we'll send you over a sample. I don't mind sending sample stuff, a sample capabilities presentation, so you can see how we actually do that. I have a lead magnet on that, which I could send you if you want to get on a call or do a webinar. I have one of those too, to show you how to do a really good comprehensive capabilities presentation. But I'm not going to do this stuff unless you tell me you need it. Go in the description for this particular video or just on the channel and find out how to get in touch with the team. And then what we'll do is we'll send you some resources as well. We have a whole program on government contracting. So anyway, back to business. So once you had fully done your capabilities presentation, there are several websites, third-party websites, that source all of the federal opportunities in one place. Saves you a ton of time. What you're able to do is, once you find out who's hiring and you have your NAICS code, You can get either a GovWin, which is by Dell Tech. They're typically on the more expensive side, but you can get a GovTribe is a great tool. You can pull, I think it's like 50 leads a month, but they have pricing for some programs that are some software that's like free for a couple leads, and then some that are a little bit more expensive. But you just want to get your feet wet. And then you put in your NAICS codes, and it will tell you all the contracts that are open, all the contracts that may have closed underneath your NAICS code. But the great thing about this, what it's going to do for you, is it's going to give you contacts, right? So you can see, okay, I'm interested in doing work with the Army. If I'm working with the Army, who are the people who are buying mechanical engineering in the Army? It's going to give you the contract officer's name. You can reach out to them and share your capabilities and your capabilities presentation. Say, are you having any vendor outreach sessions? Sometimes that vendor outreach sessions can be great for networking. So you could team with someone, you could get subcontractor opportunities, you can meet the contract officers or the program team and put an actual face to a name of a company. So that's great for that. So you may not get a direct meeting with them, but what it will do, it gives you a starting place on this huge process and road of government contracting. I will say, if you put the effort in, you should be looking at getting a contract small and roughly, I say, a year to year and a half. But you got to be strategic and you got to be intentional. Use LinkedIn and make connection. Go to some of these vendor networking sessions. I didn't say the first contract you get is going to be millions of dollars, but even if you get a $50,000 contract, that is a great way to start to build your business. And you can do government contracting, and you could do it as a part-timer, you can do it as a consultant, support other people. There are tons of ways to make money. There's tons of ways to make an impact. Some people like only working with different organizations because of their mission. So some people only want to work with Department of Education. Some people only want to work with military. It just depends on what your personal mission is. But you can make money in government contracting. If you're interested in doing my program, I'm here to help, but you don't have to. You can just take what I've told you, execute, and start your process. I love you. I'm so proud of you that you're taking the step to bring change to your business and to your life. God bless. I'm Towan Isom. Get started.